Hi folks, this is Abel James, and thanks for joining us on Fat Burning Man, where we talk about real food and real results. I'm honored to be here this week with my lovely wife, Alison. I've been getting a lot of mail and comments from listeners and readers lately asking for a more intimate peek into what our habits look like. Specifically, you guys want to hear how my wife approaches exercise, fasting, and cooking. So here's a little taste. Guess what we had after dinner last night? If you said delicious cookies, then you'd be right. In fact, Alyson's chocolate cookies are so delicious that professional cooks get jealous. I gave some of these cookies away recently at a book signing at PaleoFX, the biggest and best paleo conference on earth. This conference is booth after booth of granola, jerky, cookies, brownies, you name it. Want to know what people said when they tried our chocolate cookies? Your cookies are by far the best thing I've tasted at the whole conference. A lot of people said that. Not too shabby considering Alison cooked them up in our RV at the campground. And I can almost guarantee that our cookies had less sugar and more nutritional punch than other paleo treats. Making incredible cookies doesn't have to be hard. In fact, we just made a cooking class to show you how to make our now world famous chocolate cookies in just 10 minutes. For the last 5 years, Alison and I have been perfecting recipes for our favorite dishes and desserts. We've finally figured out a way to make healthy meals in just a few minutes that will totally knock your socks off. Alison and I just finished a brand new video series that takes the frustration out of cooking. It's called the Wild Diet Cooking Class, and since we just launched, you can get it for half off for a limited time at fatburningman.com/cooking. We want to show you how we cook at home, not by spending hours preparing intricate and time-consuming meals, but by grabbing a skillet and whipping up an incredible, healthy meal in just 15 to 20 minutes. Here are a few of our favorites that you might enjoy. Chicken Parmesan, chocolate cookies, the green monster frittata with bruschetta, the perfect green smoothie, power cookies, cashew cream Alfredo with zucchini noodles, old-fashioned pumpkin bread, the ultimate bacon burgers. You can get all of these recipes and more in our cooking class. Go ahead and type it in and check it out. fatburningman.com/cooking. Here's the review of the week for the cooking class. The chicken parmesan was amazing. My son, who refuses to try anything healthy at the age of 18, loved it. And my husband couldn't believe how healthy it was. Great memories. That's from Maria. Just so you know, I turn down every request for advertising and sponsorship on this podcast and my blog. The way that we keep it free for you is by working our butts off to make products like the Wild Diet Cooking Class that help you lead a healthier, happier life. So if you want to support this advertising-free show, please check out the cooking class. We really think you'll like it. We've spent years perfecting these gluten-free, paleo-friendly, totally real food recipes, and we can't wait for you to join us in the kitchen. As a special thanks to fans and followers, we're offering the cooking class for more than half off for a limited time. Visit fatburningman.com/cooking right now to get the discount and join us. Once again, that's fatburningman.com/cooking. All right, on to the show. On this show with Alison, you'll learn how Alison practices intermittent fasting differently as a woman, 3 quick tips to get you started cooking your own healthy meals, why burst training is better for women than the treadmill, and much more. All right, let's go hang out with Alison. Hi folks, I am very excited to be here this week with my lovely wife, Alison. Alison has a really cool backstory of being a professional video game player who toured around North America and the world and was also on a reality TV show. Now she channels all of that energy into making delicious real food, specifically comfort food that's good for you. Alyson's also responsible for doing a lot of the behind the scenes work on the blog, the podcast, on our online coaching community, Fat Burning Tribe, as well as the thing that I'm most excited about here today that we're launching today, which is the Wild Diet Cooking Class, which is basically the best recipes that we've got. You get to join us in the kitchen. We're really excited about it. How are you doing, Alison?
I'm doing very good.
Awesome. We've had to try to take this particular show a few times since we're both in the same room, and our dog is in the same house as well. And she doesn't like it being without us. So if you hear some yips in the background, just say hi to Bailey, and then it happens anyway. So why don't we get started with giving people a little background about what you do and what you used to do as well. You've been on the show a few times, and it's so cool to have you back on because people have been asking for you for a while. But I don't want to take advantage of it because it's kind of a special thing to have someone who's so close on the show. I had Mom on the show a long time ago, and I think I might again. It's just, it's different when you have someone you truly know and love on a show that reaches so many people. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Hi, so many people.
But it'll be cool because we can kind of go back and forth, make it a lot more conversational. So why don't you just get started? Tell folks a little bit about what you do, who you are, and all that.
Sure, yeah. So like Abel said, I used to be a professional gamer, and I started gaming when I was really little. I have 5 older brothers, so it was just, I needed to prove that I was equal in some way. Sure, you could beat me up, but I'll get so many headshots on you. It will not be fair. So, and later on, I became a professional gamer and toured around and stuff. And gaming, it's kind of, I think gamers' minds, they work in a kind of a different way where even when we're out at a bar, it's like I have to make an objective list for myself to like keep things entertaining. And I'm always looking for like little treasure hunts or it's just a way to frame the world, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I went on to work at BioWare, and we worked on a Star Wars video game. And I realized, actually, you inspired me to go from working at this studio where I kind of felt like I was getting people to play video games, but not the kind that are helpful.
The most highly addictive video games of all time.
Yeah, where
that
like
was the goal.
The marketing meetings are, how can we get people to play this longer and more so that they're playing 8 to 12 hours a day or whatever, because, it's not the company's fault. That's kind of the demand of the audience.
In a crazy way. World of Warcraft,
like
there are addiction centers set up for these types of games. So, and I think a lot of people who are parents listening to this can kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
People do get addicted to not only video games, but technology. And I think one of the cool things that you've done is taken that, which you were playing it as a job, which is different, right? Because if you play 8 to 10 hours a day as a job, that means you're working 8 to 10 hours. It doesn't really even matter what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm practicing for a competition or whatever.
Yeah, and practicing for a competition. But you were able to channel that energy and go from, the thing that might be the most like one of the biggest time sucks on earth, according to most people, which is video games or screens of some kind, and channel all that energy into becoming an incredible cook. When we first got together, you did know how to cook, but not necessarily cook healthy food. And I knew how to cook too, kind of like improvisationally. And you lapped me many times over really, really quickly because you're so talented. And I think it's a testament to the fact that a lot of people who think that they can't cook.
It's just like playing an instrument. You got to practice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you got to practice every day. And it's almost like I just kept leveling up, right? So I started with macaroni and cheese and ramen, and maybe I got a little fancy and added some Gouda and tomatoes to my macaroni. But then as I went on, when we first started dating, I still liked cooking, but I was making, at that point, I think I made like a soy cheesecake. I had like a soy face, and it evolved. And then at some point during our first, I don't know, it was like the first couple of months. Mm-hmm.
Those were an interesting few months.
You started this show like 4 months after we were together?
Yeah, we get together pretty much when I started Fat Burning Man.
Yeah.
And I was running marathons, and it was a really interesting time.
And so we both like took the plunge into this specific way of eating that Abel had been researching and practicing on himself and all that. And so I all of a sudden realized I couldn't have chocolate chip cookies because they've got, wheat flour, and we're not going to eat that anymore. And desserts are just, I kind of live for desserts.
Mm-hmm. Still do.
It's my treat, Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, I needed a cookie sometimes.
I think we can all relate to that. But the cool thing that you did is you kind of like, you started with a cookie, right? You over the course of years, perfected the gluten-free, real food, low sugar, relatively low carb chocolate chip cookie. And then you kind of built it out into, I don't know how many recipes we have now, but it's hundreds of recipes, which are, for people who have never like made a recipe or whatever, it's really hard. It takes a lot of kind of going back and forth, screwing things up. What would you tell someone who is kind of like new in the kitchen, maybe still a little bit afraid of it? What would you tell them?
Oh, yeah. So once you make a recipe, say like our chicken parmesan it's a really good example. Once you make that recipe and you just have to like go at it, and it's a lot of times our recipes are hard to screw up, and even when you do screw them up, like Pedram messed up the pumpkin pie by putting in the egg whites instead of the egg yolks, but it still came out really good. We ate the whole thing.
Pedram's a past guest of the show. He makes documentaries and stuff. He's a Taoist priest.
But you just want to do it. Like, just make the chicken parmesan. And then next time when you're trying to think of what to make for dinner, when you think of all your different options or go through, different things you made before, you'll be so less intimidated by something that you've already made. So like that chicken parmesan, okay, well, I need these ingredients. I know that I can easily do this in, 30, 40 minutes. And it's just doing it.
Yeah.
And it takes practice. And you'll mess up sometimes and just throw some bacon on there and it's pretty tasty anyway.
Doesn't matter what it is. Bacon always helps.
It's like a bacon Band-Aid.
Now, another thing that you were doing when we first got together, we were both kind of guilty of this, of doing not a little bit of exercise, a lot of freaking exercise, right? I was running marathons like 50 miles a week. You were doing 2-3 sessions a day on the treadmill,
on the
right?
treadmill for an hour. It was usually an hour in the morning. At lunchtime I'd come home and run for an hour on the treadmill, and then at night too.
That's a lot of exercise. A lot of really boring exercise. But now you're still the same weight.
Yeah, but my body composition's different. So the toning, the color, the way my body looks, it's much different. Instead of being like kind of thin and a little sickly, which I didn't even realize at the time, it's like...
Yeah, you were kind of gaunt looking. I was too.
Looking back at pictures, then you realize, oh, I see. Compared to what I look like now, that wasn't as good as, what kind of exercises I do now.
Was it your dad who said something to you?
Yeah. I think I brought that up in the last show that we were in. And that was really when I started to realize that it was not that healthy. My dad said, Alison, you need to eat more. And I was like, oh. I just met him at the airport. He's picking me up.
He says things like that.
Yeah.
We love your
dad. He's a dad. They always tell the truth.
But anyway, so we get a lot of questions from people because they're like, yeah, Abel, we hear what he does. What does his wife do? Like how does she exercise? Does she fast? What is she eating for meals? When is she eating them? How is she doing it? Let's get some like rubber meets the road. So that used to be the way that you exercise, kind of like in a lot of cardio, right? Basically that was it. And you didn't really do strength. Right?
And that was post gaming. So gaming, I was like, oh crap, I've been sitting on the couch for 18 hours a day playing video games and my thighs are not looking so hot. So I was like, I'm going to hit the treadmill. But now sprints are my absolute favorite. I do those 5 times a week, sometimes more, but it's in the morning. It just feels so good. Even if it's just sprinting down the driveway and back, it just feels really good to just get my blood flowing in the morning. So sprints I feel like I could do every day.
It's not like sprints around a track though. The way that you do it is more like fun than like grinding your teeth and like having your toes bleed while you're doing it. Like there's a very intense type of sprinting, and then there's kind of a fun, like you're a kid again type of exercise. And I think that's something that you do really, really well. So it's not like you're still it seems like you do exercise because it's fun, not because you have to.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think that's true. We just moved to the woods, and so I take Bailey out, and she doesn't have to be on a leash out here.
Her dog.
Yeah, her dog. And we just sprint through the woods, and it's kind of like a video game for me because I'm dodging branches and jumping over fallen trees, and I come back and I've got scrapes and a couple spider bites and whatever, it's not a big deal, but it feels, you just feel alive doing it. And so you're jumping around, and it's not just like the same movements over and over that are wearing on your joints or whatever. I like to pretend like I'm a wild animal or whatever, run through the woods in the morning. It just feels so good. And then the rest of your day can't be bad because you were a wild animal early this morning.
Yeah.
Running through the woods. Oh, and you found a waterfall.
So you're playing instead of grinding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Big difference.
Yeah. Instead of grinding, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, and also my other favorite exercises, one of the things in my body, or most people, is your legs and your butt are like the biggest muscles in your body. So when you work those out, it causes a cascade effect throughout the rest of your body. So I'll work out my butt and my upper legs the most. So I'll do squats with a 50-pound kettlebell and kettlebell swings with a 30-pound kettlebell. And I usually do 4 sets of 25. And that feels really good because that for me right now is enough to where I'm pushing it. And by the end, I'm just like, yes, I just high-five myself for that.
And how long does that take you?
Oh, I don't know, like less than 5 minutes for sure.
It's awesome. Like both of us, we see each other do either before and after our workouts or whatever, and usually it's about like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and it's almost like micro exercise the way that we've learned to do it, especially after being on the road for so long. We've spent, maybe we should talk about that a little bit. We've spent the last year, literally 12 months on the road, living in many parts of North America: Colorado, California, Arizona, Tennessee,
New Mexico,
Florida, New Mexico, Utah, Texas, also internationally: Fiji, Bali, Australia, Canada. That barely counts though. Peru, and tons of other places.
Yeah.
But nonstop, we've been living out of campers, RVs, tents, other people's houses. It's been really interesting. What are some of the tips that you've been able to glean about like effective living, effective eating from living in such a haphazard, challenging way for so long?
It's been a wild ride.
So to speak.
Yeah. So the main thing is you want to have your routine, the things that keep you healthy and thriving and just feeling great every day. You want to have those down. And if you don't have them down, you'll get them down. You have to. It's like you do that or you die, But so for me, part of my routine is in the morning, I exercise and then do like some stretching, some yoga, qigong, and then meditate. And that right there it really sets the tone for my whole day to feel calm, centered, focused, connected with the universe in a way. And I know that I've done my exercise, I've done my qigong, and I feel good that those are the things that I told myself I was going to do, and I did them. And so getting in the routine of doing those things, and when we're on the road, it's especially important to do those things because it's just, you'll be driving, something will come up, like things just get so haywire that if you don't get them done in the morning, you might not get a second to yourself to where you can get those things done. Maybe your truck catches on fire, or you get stuck in a blizzard, or
hauling a trailer. We've had a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say, we've really learned how important habits are and how it is possible to have them kind of like persevere. Your habits can be resilient to your own lifestyle, as challenging as that might be. And so a lot of people, if they go on the road or you go on vacation or whatever, it's pretty easy to say, well, I'm not at home, I'm not going to exercise, or I'm not going to do my little meditation, or I'm not going to do my healthy eating plan. I'm not going to have my smoothie, whatever it is. You're not going to do it because you're making some random excuse about you traveling or you being at someone else's house or you're not having enough time or whatever. And I think it's been really cool to see. It's been a very powerful lesson to do gongs, like we call them.
Yeah.
Which is basically like a commitment of doing something for, 100 days, give or take, and doing it every single day. And that's the way that we've been able to build in a lot of these habits, is just saying, it's not something where you're wondering, hey, I wonder if I'm going to do this today. I wonder if I'm going to do Tai Chi, or I wonder if I'm going to meditate. I wonder if I'm going to exercise. I wonder if I'm going to get any work done. It's like, nope, no matter where we are, we might be in Colorado, which is, this place that we found on the highway in between Kansas and Colorado. You might be there at a rest stop and still kind of like doing your thing and putting your arms out there. And you just have to make sure that you do it. And so I'm so proud of you for the habits that you've been able to build in the time that I've known you. And I want it to be a testament to other people that you can go from, like playing video games for 10 hours a day to having habits that, the most successful people on earth have, which is basically like meditating, eating well, exercising every day, like pretty boring stuff, sleeping well. But if there are secrets, that's what they are. It's the really boring ones. It's the really like obvious ones. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about.
Wait, one more.
Yeah,
thing.
Go.
So just piggybacking off that is if you don't do your regular routine every day while you're on vacation or whatever, it's going to be a lot harder to get back into that once you get back home. So if you just do it every day no matter what, then it's really important. And also, I just want to share that one thing that's actually really built my confidence in a lot of ways is besides sticking to the thing, the things that I'm going to do every day and sticking to them, is doing it in front of other people no matter where we are. So for example, the Qigong exercises that we do, it's, these movements, and it's kind of weird looking.
It looks pretty wacky. It's pretty hippy-dippy crap, for sure.
Yeah. But no matter what RV park we were parked at, and we were parked at, I can't even count how
I think
many.
the Hells Angels ran some of those RV parks.
We get up on top of the RV and do it up there because I wanted not to do it for other people to see, but to do it even if other people saw. It was like, I'm going to do this for me. And this is where I like to do it because I'm kind of close to the sky and whatever. But it was a big confidence builder to like, it's like a practice in not caring what other people think.
Well, you have to look and feel stupid in front of other people a lot before you know who you are. That's what I think.
I like that.
The only reason I can do this ridiculous show called Fat Burning Man is because as a musician, which I did ever since I was, like 6 or 7 years old, I was the little kid playing clarinet in suspenders with chubby cheeks at like local diners. And ever since I've been, I was in an a cappella group at Dartmouth, the Dartmouth Airs, which is fantastic, but ridiculous. You dress up in ugly clothes and go make a fool of yourself in front of thousands of people. And I think I'm so thankful for that lesson. And I think that we're able to pass that back and forth to each other, that don't take all this so seriously, because that will stop you from exercising in front of other people, or from meditating or doing a lot of, or starting to cook, right?
Yeah.
Like it'll stop you from doing almost anything. So like make sure that you're ready to fail. We fail a lot in front of each other, and it makes us closer to each other. So that's another little lesson. But one thing that I want to cover, because a lot of people ask about it, is, I'm a big proponent of fasting, at least in my own habits, in my own life, which typically looks like 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating, but even more often, that would be kind of the easy way of explaining it. The more difficult way of explaining it is more like 20 hours fasting, 4 hours eating. And that's kind of what I gravitate to. But in the mornings and during midday, I'll have fatty coffee, or, Dave Asprey's a friend of mine, bulletproof coffee. I don't always do it his way, but I'll have some sort of fat. So basically I'm straddling ketosis most of the day, and that might go all the way up until like 12, 3 p.m., maybe even 6 p.m. And then I'll have like one big meal and big snacking. A lot of women are just like, well, I can't do that. I wouldn't do that. That's dangerous. I don't feel good when I do that. What does your wife do? So what does my wife do?
I started off small, so I probably started off, I stopped eating at 8 p.m. and I'd start eating at 10 or 11 or 12 just to play with it to see how I felt. And I felt awesome. I felt so good. It's this incredible focus where all of a sudden, it's hard to explain it's like a physical feeling in my head where
of energy
and like clarity and focus, where all my work, I just know exactly what needs to get done, where it's none of this like, what was I doing? Think. It's none of that. And then I would push it longer and farther. And so I went as far as fasting every day, like 5 to 7 days a week. And I would go until like 4 p.m. It was between like noon and 4. I would eat somewhere in there, usually around 2. But a lot of days I wouldn't eat until 4 or 5, like getting ready for dinner, like preparing dinner. I'd be like, oh man, this smells good. I'm going to start eating something. But recently we got tested. I got my cortisol tested, and it came out that my morning cortisol was lower than it should be, which means, I'm not getting going as much as I should be, which is why I also started doing more sprints in the morning.
She doesn't drink enough coffee.
I don't drink that much coffee. But so I thought it might be because I'm fasting too much, so now I'm scaling it back, and I probably do 3 to 4 days a week. And for example, today I didn't have my green smoothie until 2 p.m. So that's from 8 p.m. to 2 p.m. is my window of fasting for 3 to 4 days a week, and I really like it. And it's also just like kind of annoying to have to make breakfast and think about food in the morning when I want to get right to it. I want to do my gongs, my meditation, my exercises. I want to start working right away and start crushing the day, and then think about food later. It's awesome. And I don't feel like I'm starving myself. I feel really healthy. And at night we have a giant feast.
But it's a feast of things that are difficult to overeat. For example, it's difficult to overeat vegetables. And pretty much every day we break our fast with 2 huge glasses of greens. We make a green smoothie, low sugar, low carb. We make it differently than a lot of other people. Like some people, especially if they see what we do during the day, they're just like, are you vegans or something? And it's interesting because a lot of the smoothie juicing people are getting a lot of sugar. You go to like vegan websites or whatever, and you see what their habits look like during the day, and it's just kind of loading up on anything that's vegetables or fruits. But we're much more vegetable heavy, so that's one of the things that's difficult to overeat. So you have 2 big glasses of vegetables and fiber, and you're pretty much rocking it, and it's hard to keep much else down and be that hungry to have sort of like binge type behavior. I wouldn't really call it that, because some people are just like, they hear that we do feasting every night and have a great time, but it's not disordered eating, right? It's like we're having fun, we're having a big salad, we love nuts and seeds, and we always have those around, flax crackers and things like that. If we have carbs, we save them for the night usually, like sweet potatoes and wild rice, red rice. Those are some of our favorites. We might even cheat and have some popcorn on Sundays or something like that.
Oh, but it's not just any popcorn.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, this stuff. It's heirloom, non-GMO, organic. I think it's organic too, right? It's called Tiny But Mighty, and it just has
it melts in your mouth. It's amazing.
Flavor that's not like... It has more flavor than any popcorn that you've ever tasted. It's really good. Anyway.
Yeah, it's rocking. So popcorn is easy to overeat, but with most of our meals, we're breaking the fast with lots of fiber from vegetables. It's usually low carb, almost always low sugar. And then we'll have a protein source, and usually a high fat source, which might be something like lamb or fish or ultimate bacon
Wait,
burgers.
you just jumped from smoothie to lamb.
I know, it's a rough one.
But no, yeah, like the smoothie will usually, it'll have like a bunch of greens. I'll usually put a little bit of oil in it, like avocado oil or coconut oil or something fatty. Flax seeds, soaked chia seeds are really good. And
This is the green smoothie itself.
right, yeah. But yeah, or we'll break our fast with a salad or eggs, and then in the evening, yeah, it's like a really delicious cut of meat, and not even an expensive cut of meat. You know, you get some grass-fed short ribs, and they're like $8 a pound or less. Oh my God. And you put that in the crock pot in the morning, and at nighttime, it's just like, oh my gosh, dinner is already made, and it's
the best.
So good. With a salad also, yeah.
Yeah. Now, one of the other things that we did put into smoothies for a while didn't work out so well. It made you cry.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Which
superfood
superfood made you cry, Alison?
Maca.
Yeah.
Maca it's not a good one for me, and I think a lot because it's touted by so many. It's in a lot of products, and it's like the new superfood. It'll does all these great things. Increase your sex drive. You're gonna feel like superhuman. And just take this maca, and it tastes good. I think
It does taste good. I like it.
but it's potent. And for me, because I eat a balanced diet, I think, and my body's pretty balanced, that to add maca in there, it just like throws my hormones all out of whack. And for like half of a day, I am just a mess.
Yeah.
But
I can vouch for that. I'm biting my tongue now. I'm not going to say anything.
well, I mean, I admit it.
But maca is, there are a lot of foods that, because they're healthy or whatever, a lot of people kind of stack them up. And one of the cool things that happened when you it kind of came clean about maca, once we narrowed it down.
Yeah, we realized what it was.
In the Fat Burning Tribe, which is our coaching community, some of the other members piped in and they're just like, oh, I kind of have a similar deal there. I wonder if it is the maca.
One of the girls in the tribe, she was gaining weight, and so I asked her, well, what are the things that you're, break it down. What are you eating today, and what's your exercise like? And one of the things that she's doing is she's having this protein supplement every day that has maca in it, and she's adding additional maca to that. So she looks like she's about my age. So I told her about that, and she, all of a sudden, it kind of clicked, and she's like, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
That could explain a lot of things that are going on right now.
Food is medicine. Some food is definitely like drugs.
I would say another one that's like that is deer antler velvet, which guys are more prone to taking. But I've tried it.
To get their huge lifts on. I tried it years ago and overdid it a little bit, and it just made me like pissed off and get acne, so I knew it was working. Stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk a little bit more about food.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this cooking class that we have coming out. What is your favorite thing to make and eat? I guess I've never really point blank asked you that.
My favorite thing to make and eat. Well, ice cream and cookies. I love dessert and pie. I've been dreaming. We have all these wild blackberries growing, everywhere around here. It's really insane.
Is it the season?
So I've been dreaming about making a blackberry pie.
We should do that.
Oh, I'm going to.
Awesome. I'm excited
I'm thinking about doing that this weekend.
Okay.
But as far as non-dessert foods, I really like ribs and steak.
Yeah.
But any day, I will also go for chicken, lamb, and duck. I don't know if you guys have experienced duck before, but I think people are afraid to cook duck, but it's way easier it's similar to cooking a chicken. You can cook it like a chicken, and it turns out really good.
Much fattier, though.
Yes.
More juicy.
And you get the byproduct of duck fat at the end. So you cook the duck on what is that thing called that goes over the baking sheet? Anyway, you put it on that, and all the fat drains into the baking pan. And so at the end, you just pour that into a little dish, and you have duck fat cooking oil, cooking fat, which usually costs like $10 at the store if you just buy that. But you get free cooking fat with your duck. Anyways, so tasty.
Save the drippings. It's worth it. So these are just, us going back and forth. This is kind of like the way we actually live.
Wait a second. What's
What?
your favorite food to eat?
Oh, God, I have so many, basically anything you make.
Oh.
I have so many favorites, though. I just, I like the simple things, too, like a really good omelet that's packed with, avocado or guacamole and caramelized or sauteed onions, maybe a bit of bacon or duck or fajita chicken or something
Mixed
else
in.
in there mixed in,
Yeah.
and some veggies. But I like kind of like punch you in the face, hearty foods and flavors, especially because I go most of the day without eating. So I think when I do eat, I'm looking for the stick to your ribs type beautiful food. And so that's the way that we eat. And one thing that we'll kind of like share on the down low is that being in the health field for a while, you get to eat with a lot of other like health experts, and a lot of people don't follow their own diets.
We won't tell you which ones.
So what we try to do is basically just open the veil and say, this is what we actually do every day. These are our habits. And this is what we've learned. This is how we apply it. So if you're interested in any of that, I think you'll like the Wild Diet cooking class, because that's basically just like the two of us hanging out, showing you how to make really simple, quick and easy meals that also taste incredible. Like pumpkin bread that's not terrible for you, right? And relatively low in carbs, full of fiber, packed with nutrients. Ultimate bacon burgers, healthy pancakes. Why don't you tell people a little bit about the pancakes, because that's an interesting one. A lot of people who are paleo or whatever have given up on pancakes forever. Similar thing with low carb, gluten free, whatever.
Yeah,
let's talk about pancakes.
That was one that's actually sent to us by a community member, and it's just like so good. But it's basically a little bit of egg, some coconut milk, coconut flour, a little bit of baking soda and vanilla, and I might be missing an ingredient, but that's basically all it is. So it's like coconut and egg and vanilla.
Rock on.
And it's so good. And they cook up and they look just like pancakes, and they're really tasty. But all the recipes that we put into this the cooking or the Wild Diet cooking class, they're our favorite easy, delicious, just hard to mess up recipes.
Most of them are like 8 minutes long. So if you're interested in checking it out, you can go to fatburningman.com/cooking, and that will bring you right to where you can grab the Wild Diet cooking class. And since it just launched, we're really excited about it. We're doing a bunch of giveaways, and it's also half off for a limited time. So we want to get you in the kitchen. That's one place you can find Alison. Why don't you tell them a little bit about the tribe too? Because that's another way that we really interact with. We love interacting with you guys personally.
Yeah.
And so tell them a little bit about the tribe too.
Yeah, the tribe. So it's a website where we update it 3 times a week with, a bunch of cool videos, recipes, resources, downloads, a ton of stuff every week. And we have a private Facebook group where everybody just, the group, I think, is a huge part of it, because it's this, like, if someone asks a question, I'll answer it. And I have my perspective and my experience and my knowledge that I share, but it's also all these other people who have been doing this diet and way of eating for maybe a few weeks to as long as a few years. And so they'll pipe in and they'll share their experiences, and a lot of times it's just like, oh, I didn't think about that. It's great. And we share recipes and weird articles and like, can you believe this company is doing this nonsense type of stuff too? But it's mostly just like very encouraging, inspirational, and like great ideas for what to eat.
And that's all at fatburningtribe.com. BioWare.com. You can check it out there. And we're really excited about it. After traveling for so long, we finally found a place that's in the woods where by the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, and it's just gorgeous. And we're so happy. And we're back to working really hard. My book, The Wild Diet, is done. And now, and you guys, oh man, it's been so cool to see the reviews, especially for the audiobook, which is just, a lot of people are really digging it. And the thing that warms my heart the most is that a lot of you guys say, this is the perfect book. I gave it as a gift to, my aunt or someone I care about or whatever. And that's basically what we want. All of our content that we're making for you guys, from podcasts to blogs to books to the online community, we want it to be this thing where basically it's honest, because man, it's and I'm just totally like coming clean right now because I think it's the two of us here, right? But one thing that I realized, especially in putting the Wild Diet out, and certainly when I first launched my podcast, is that a lot of people in the health industry are marketers first, and second, they're kind of like interested in health, or that's their field or whatever. That's their focus of their marketing. And so going up against, people who are marketing to you is a challenge, and sometimes it's frustrating or whatever. And we've certainly had some moments, but we're here to say that we're doing this and we're really, really happy. And this is literally the way that we live. And being healthy, being in the best shape of your life isn't just, it's not some super complicated thing that nobody can do, or is only hidden in the back of some research study or someone's diet book or whatever. It's very simple, but it's not easy. So we try to make our stuff make it easier to work it into your lifestyle, your habits, and that's what we really specialize in, I would say, is making this stuff achievable.
And one thing I don't think Abel talks about much is that he turns down a lot of advertisement money. Excuse me, to keep the show, kind of untainted, and just like the message is real and clear, and here it is, and here's what you guys need. And so, if you want to support the show, buy one of our products. That's why we make them, is so we can keep doing this.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
I know.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I think it was last week, I got yet another email from a, hey, fat burning man, would you like to sell and partner with us to sell a fat burning pill? I'm like,
oh, wow.
Do you realize that I make fun of fat burning pills on almost every show that I do? Because that stuff is absolute BS. Whatever. Anyway, now we're just rambling. But Alison, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been so much fun. I think we'll have to do it again because it's easier just to open up my heart and talk.
Aww. Whenever. I would love to come on as much as you guys want me on.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so if you want to find Alison and the stuff that we do together, the thing we're most excited about right now is called the Wild Diet Cooking Class. You can go to fatburningman.com/cooking and grab it right there. You can also, of course, if you're on the email list, you'll already be getting some free videos that we're putting out about the cooking class. You can also check us out at fatburningtribe.com, and that's where we have the coaching community where Alison and I are online talking to you guys and answering your questions. My mom is too, who's a holistic nurse practitioner. So we got the whole family, the whole crew involved, and we're really happy that you're listening and we're able to do what we do. It's our dream job.
It is. We love it.
Thank you, Alison. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be chatting soon. Hey, this is Abel James from Fat Burning Man, and if you liked this video today, please take a quick second to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now, I have a quick question for you. Do you want to learn how to get fit and lose fat by exercising less? Get the step-by-step strategies for how to do that right now for free. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel right now, then click the link below to fatburningman.com. Enter your best email to sign up for my newsletter, and I'll send you a quick start guide to burning fat right now and some ridiculously good recipes as a special thanks. Once again, just go to fatburningman.com right now and enter your best email to get your free fat burning download straight to your inbox. Talk to you soon. But This keeps it nice
There's
and
another
warm,
product,
and it's about the same price as those glass ones, but I broke enough
and
of those
why so many
to
of the
go for this
low
one.
carb
It's lasted a
crowd
while.
are holding on to pounds they don't want to. I felt this when I lost my first 50.